All right, this is going to be a 2-for-1 deal. This one's going to be a 2-for-1 deal. Buy one, get one free. Double whammy, double penetration, DP. You're going to be calling me Riley Reid after this shit, right? Just like the truck stop bathrooms. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I want to talk about here today Marvel Rivals and Street Fighter 6 and comparing them. Because both of these games have given me the same exact feeling, and I honestly am starting to think the same way about both of them. And I never also did give my clear and concise thoughts in one video about my thoughts on Street Fighter 6. So I'm going to do that as well. And just how the FGC is just falling apart and dying, right? So for starters, the FGC's, of course, had a rough couple of weeks. There was all the hacking stuff and all of that, which that was just like, damn, that kind of sucks for a lot of people. Like, Roofamonger got hacked. What was it? Angry Bird got hacked as well. And Lord Knight got hacked, which I was kind of like, one of these days I knew he was going to get hacked, but like not like this. I thought he'd just click on some strange sites or whatnot. But that one didn't surprise me. But in all seriousness, like everyone's getting hacked, but it's just like, just whatever. I think everybody got their accounts back. Everything was fine in the end. So it is what it is. Overall, there's been a lot of dissatisfaction with fighting games in the last year.
I swear! Oh my... I'm tired of losing to these fucking scrubs in ranked! Oh my god, man! I wanna just play fucking stupid! Just walk back all damn day! It pisses me off! This game is shit!
Just a lot of overall L's, and the game Street Fighter 6 that everybody was praising and glazing non-stop and saying that this is the greatest fighting game ever, this is going to save fighting games, this is peak, blah, 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 blah. People are starting to become very frustrated with it. And there's been a lot of problems and a lot of issues coming up, but even now, it's still kind of a taboo subject for most people to be talking about this. And a lot of the mainstream, like, big motherfuckers, like Sajam and whatnot, just, like, try to avoid it as much as possible, this topic as much as possible. But you can tell, even like them, they're fucking apathetic, right? People like Brian F. as well, and the game just fucking sucks ass. The game sucks ass, and I never really did give my clear and concise thoughts about it. But from the very beginning, I was on board. Like back when they first announced it during like Street Fighter 5 and shit. I saw Street Fighter 6, and just like everybody, I'm like, oh my god, this game looks amazing. This game is so hyped. This game is so cool. I can't wait. This game looks like it's doing everything right. And then, I got my hand on the beta, and I played the beta, and I'm like, this game's good. This game's alright, but there's a couple of things that I'm just like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like the drive rush. I don't like all this shit. Just being able to skip neutral, press big button, throw loops as well. And that was one of my earlier videos, was I made a video basically being like, yo, Kimberly and like Jury and Ken and shit and all these characters, like half the fucking roster has throw loops. They can just throw you and throw you and throw you. I'm like, this is really fucked up. I'm like, it's just the beta though. This will be fixed. It's not that big of a deal. There's no way they're going to just like let this happen. This is like really fucked up. And there's just like hardly any neutral. The game was very scrambly. Anti-airing was inconsistent. There was all kinds of like weird problems with the game that I had. But I'm like, at the end of the day, it's not horrible. It's not terrible. And these things are going to be fixed. These things are going to be patched surely, because nobody's going to fucking want to play this shit. And it's going to have all kinds of issues. And then the game actually released. And I played it. And I was playing a lot of DJ, and then I was like playing Ken and shit, and I was just like, dude, this game is, I made a video that was, it was like basically a compilation, just me raging at the game, and this was in the first week or two of the game, and the video is titled, this game makes me sound like Low Tier God, and I was just saying like, dude, this game is so fucking scrubby, this game is so shitty. There's no neutral in the game. It's scrambly, it's just like, and I was just saying like awful shit, like the kind of shit Low Tier God says about Street Fighter 5, where it's like, anybody can just beat anybody in this game. There's no real skill in this game. It's like, it's just random. There's no neutral. And I was just kind of fucking complaining. I'm like, you just run your flow chart. It's just, there's throw loops over and over again. And all I was doing was fucking complaining about the game. And I was like, this was not what I wanted Street Fighter 6 to be. I didn't fucking like this. And there's no way this game is going to be like the shit, right? And, but the thing is everybody loved it. I think it was overwhelmingly positive on launch. There were so many new players who hadn't played like previous Street Fighters, who were just getting into Street Fighter 6, and it was overwhelmingly big. This was probably the biggest fighting game in a long time. Street Fighter 6 did really well. It had great graphics, great presentation, great cosmetics, checking all the boxes for a casual audience, and was trying to market to a casual audience, and clearly wanted the game to be spectacular and very, what should I say? What, shiny? Approachable? I don't know, right? It was gearing the game to a casual audience, which isn't necessarily horrible, but it's like they fucked over all the competitive play and stuff and removed neutral, and there were so many fucking problems with the game. So many issues. But if you said all of these issues, then people would just say, oh, you're rage baiting, you're hating, you're you're a fucking scrub, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm just like, it was just like really frustrating. And about not even a month in the game, I was just like, dude, I don't like this shit. I don't like Street Fighter 6 in the slightest. And I just quit. I just stopped playing, I just couldn't. I just fucking couldn't. I'm like, this game is so shitty. This game is so ass. And it has all kinds of problems. But the thing is, you got people like Sajam, you got people like Brian Aff, a lot of these big people, like, pulling in all kinds of numbers and shit and just glazing the game nonstop. And Maximilian, too, just glazing the game nonstop. And like everybody's saying this is the shit, this is gonna save fighting games. I'm just like, no the fuck it's not. The moment I got my hands under the game and actually got to play it, I'm like, no the fuck it isn't. This game is fucking terrible and there's all kinds of fucking problems and it's just a step backwards. And it's like, yeah, Street Fighter 5 was not the perfect game, but goddamn, like the thing is the big complaints with Street Fighter 5 is V-trigger. You start losing and then you got this V-trigger, which is a comeback mechanic, and the big thing is the sort of like, you go in, you just press a button into V-trigger and you're plus instantly. You know what I mean? You force them into a guess, and a lot of V-triggers could force people into multiple guesses, but it's like, it always feels like people are in V-trigger, and especially like combos did like 40-50% damage. It was ridiculous. The whole game was fucking ridiculous, and I just couldn't stomach playing it in the slightest. And I quit within like a month of the game being released, and I haven't touched Street Fighter 6. I haven't touched Street Fighter 6 even like when Rashid came out, right? I haven't touched it after that month. You know what I mean? I'm off that shit. That I haven't touched it at all. You know what I mean? And it just had all kinds of fucking problems, but you couldn't discuss it. And there were definitely people complaining about the game, but it was like, people like Mena, right? Mena's Twitter is fucking hilarious, and all it is for the last year or so, it's just been him molding over Street Fighter and him congratulating people on like tournaments and whatnot, right? But him from the very start was like, I don't like this game, and basically saying the same issues I did. Like, this game is no neutral. The neutral in this game is a joke. It's like really fucked up. And it's like all these people have all these complaints and all these top players, but nobody fucking cares. And Capcom just goes, adios, see you in 6 months, and we'll release a balance patch. And their balance patch was just like mediocre, and it was just like, it didn't fix any of the real problems that the game had. All the throw loops, all the neutral skips, all that shit, and the fucking just scrambly nature that they turned the game into. And it's just like, okay, clearly, Capcom wants to gear this game towards a casual audience. That's clearly who they're marketing it to. The game's not for me. It's not for Matt. It's for Maximilian Sajam and his followers. I'm just like, whatever. Fine. Go play Tekken or whatever. Tekken does the same shit. And I made another video saying this game has all kinds of red flags. This game has all kinds of problems. And basically the video was like 30 minutes of me just saying like, they're trying to gear this game for a fucking casual audience and doing the same shit that Street Fighter 6 did, and it's horrible, having all these heat mechanics, neutering certain characters and certain stuff in the game, and trying to basically destroy neutral and make the game more aggressive and faster. The funny thing is, Tekken did almost all the same exact things as Street Fighter did, but got so much more hate. While Street Fighter was overwhelmingly positive to very positive for like pretty much its whole life, Tekken was immediately like mostly negative to like mixed reviews, right? People just bitched about it, and the same complaints you can give for Tekken, you can give for Street Fighter. And honestly, Tekken was way less severe than Street Fighter was, right? But the thing is Tekken wasn't presented as nicely. Tekken wasn't as shiny, it wasn't as colorful, it didn't look as nice. Still, a lot of the characters were still using the same old animations. They did change some characters' animations, they did make some shit more polished, but it still, the game wasn't nearly to the caliber of Street Fighter 6, and it didn't have the World Tour mode, it didn't have all this other shit, so it wasn't on the same level, and it didn't bring in a massive casual audience, but it still did bring in an audience. It still did pulling good numbers, and it's like, and I don't like Tekken 8 either, you know what I mean? But it's at least better than these. And I basically when I first got off Street Fighter, what I said when I stopped playing it was like, this game has massive amounts of fucking problems. Nobody's addressing it. Nobody cares to address it because it's bringing in such a massive audience, and everybody loves glazing this game, and that's what's bringing views, and nobody wants to hear anything bad about this game, because this game is like the beginning of a new era. This game is something new, it is something fresh, but it doesn't mean it's fucking good. And that's why people are defending this game so fucking hard. And it's bringing such a casual audience. And, like, they did all kinds of, like, really fucked up shit. Like, with the rank. The rank is a fucking joke. You basically get to set your own rank in Street Fighter 6. You know what I mean? You can basically go in and just say, it's like, oh, are you a beginner, intermediate, or advanced level player? And you can just say, yeah, I'm advanced. And you say I'm advanced, and it'll start playing you against diamond players. And you can lose all of your placement matches and be placed in platinum. Lose every single one of your matches. Just have no idea what the fuck you're doing. Lose every single game, be placed in platinum. Such a fucking joke. Just say, yeah, I'm advanced. It's stupid amounts of rank inflation up the wazoo. All kinds of safety brackets. Massive fucking win streaks. You can go on a win streak that can rank you up an entire rank. Give you enough LP to rank up an entire rank. It's ridiculous. The rank inflation is fucking stupid in that game. And the game was just awful. It was scrambly and it was terrible. And, you know, Menace has, like I said, I like Menace's Twitter because he was one of the few people who were saying this shit on launch. You know what I mean? And I was just like, eventually people are going to start complaining about this. People are going to start having a problem with this. And when the honeymoon phase is over, there's going to be a lot of fucking people bitching about the game. You know what I mean? And voila. In the modern day, there's a lot of fucking people bitching about the game. Bitching about the problems with the game. That were there on launch, that I was saying on launch, and people like Mena were saying on launch. But it's like, nobody cared. Nobody nobody gave a shit. Nobody fucking gave a shit. Didn't, like, I just kind of went very apathetic of the game, and it's just like, I have no urge to play this. And I didn't play it. And I haven't touched Street Fighter 6 in a while, in months, in over a year. It's a shame. It's a fucking shame, and to my knowledge, nothing has changed. Every once in a while, I'll watch a couple things, and the game still looks relatively the same, just as scrambly, and people are having all kinds of fucking complaints about the game, bitching about this, bitching about that, saying there's no neutral, and there's a lot of people doing that. But even still to this day, because it brought in such a massive casual audience, and most people with very limited fighting game experience, or haven't been playing the game all that fucking, or this is their very first fighting game, because it brought in such a massive fucking audience, there's a lot of people who are blindly defending this game. And defending horrible choices like them just not updating the game for like over 6 months. There's no defending that. That's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. Just being like, all right, there's all kinds of problems with the game. We're going to hang up our hats and leave. Bye. See you in 6 months. Like, no, you can't fucking do that. You just can't do that. Right? And you get people just all over the place fucking blindly defending this shit, being like, this is the greatest game. And even still now, there's still all kinds of people. And it seems like more people are defending this game than saying that this game has problems. And they see this game as, you can't say a single bad thing about it. No decisions that Capcom or the Street Fighter 6 team has made whatsoever are bad and horrible. And the game is perfect in every way. And if you complain about the game, then you're just like a hater or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like, there are clear, obvious fucking problems that this game has had since the fucking beta. And it's like, I said this shit. The throw loops are going to be a problem. This shit should be removed. The fucking, all these fucking neutral skips, the inconsistent anti-airs, all these problems with the game to make the game more scrambly, to appease a more casual audience are going to be a fucking problem for you know, competitive play. Fucking said this shit. It's like, okay, fine. You know? And it's like, it's gotten to the point where it's like Broski has to make a video on why he doesn't like throw loops. You fucking kidding me? You have to explain that shit to somebody? Somebody needs to hear that you don't like throw loops? That's like trying to explain why I don't like being stabbed in the back. You know what I mean? Why I don't like being shivved in my sides, right into my kidneys. I gotta fucking explain that to you. It's not great. You know, it's just not great for the fucking gameplay. Throw loops are fucking stupid. You know, all this shit, right? And it's ridiculous. That's like, you have to defend that. And there's all these people just blindly defending the game. And it's just because, like, yeah, sure, they like it or whatever. You know, it's like, it's fine to like the game if it's fucking shit, but that doesn't mean the game doesn't have problems. It doesn't mean you can't fucking complain about it. And just because you don't understand the problems or you just can't fucking wrap your head around all the issues that the game has, doesn't mean it doesn't have fucking issues. Just because you just don't know what the fuck they're talking about and you just can't figure it out, doesn't mean it doesn't have issues. And then these people who just blindly can't even see the fucking shit that's right in front of them are going to go defend here because they just don't even understand in the first place, and they're just going to say, oh, you're fucking rage baiting, you're just a hater, you're just bad, blah, 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 blah. When the game has clear and obvious fucking issues. You know what I mean? And then Marvel Rivals comes out. And hero shooters, I've made a lot of various content about hero shooters recently, and like I said, I've probably played as much hero shooters as fighting games and whatnot. Played a lot of Overwatch, played a lot of Paladins, all that stuff. I like the hero shooter genre, and I want to get this out of the way. I'm not an Overwatch player. Haven't played Overwatch competitively in about 5 years. You know what I mean? Just want to get that out of the way because people think I'm some kind of fucking Overwatch loyalist or some shit. It's like, no, I hate Overwatch probably more than you do, dude. Like, don't come with me on this bullshit that fucking I'm in love with Overwatch. You know what I mean? But I'm with Marvel Rivals. I have the same exact feeling. I heard about Marvel Rivals. I'm like, oh, they're making a Marvel-based hero shooter. That's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? That was my first thought. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. More hero shooters, the merrier. And I like Marvel. That's cool. I'm hyped. I'm in. And then I see the beta, and I'm like, oh, dude, I want to see the beta footage. I want to see people playing the game. And I checked out the beta, and I was, watching all kinds of people play the game. And then I was watching it, and I'm just like, dude, this game has mad fucking problems. This game has all kinds of fucking problems. Don't doubt, like, it's still fun to some degree. And it's like, yeah, maybe they're not that big of an issue, but it's like, there's problems here that need to be addressed. But it's like, it's just the beta. They'll be buffed out. You know what I mean? They'll be fixed, right? That's what I said. And then I made a whole hour-long video talking about that. Basically being like, yeah, this game has problems, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's still probably going to be a good game. And I'm hyped for it. I'm down. And then I go in and play it. The game releases. I get my grubby mitts all over it. And I play it, and I just go, yeah, I don't like this in the fucking slightest. This is not a fucking great experience for me at all, And it gave me the same exact feeling as Street Fighter 6 did, where I'm just like, it's just not that. And in fact, it has a lot of the same exact problems as Street Fighter 6 does. The lack of neutral, the lack of deterrence, the lack of limitations. The game is a scrambly fucking mess, just like Street Fighter 6 is. And it's all kinds of problems, the same exact problems that killed Overwatch in the first place, but people will not acknowledge this. And I've said this before. What killed Overwatch was the nerfing of CC, healing, and most importantly, shields. Shield nerf after shield nerf after shield nerf. And the point where people start saying, like, Overwatch fell off, Overwatch got bad, and all that kind of stuff, was around the point where, guess what? The second round of shield nerfs. Where shields just became unfucking usable. And you had to use all this natural cover. The game was less team-orientated. They started buffing, other people's damage and all that. And they destroyed the neutral of that game. The whole neutral of that game was just fucking ruined. Because of all these, like, CC nerfs and all these shield nerfs and all this shit. One after another after another. Nerf. Until the game just became a fucking scrambly mess. Where there was no real deterrence and no way to just be like, no, don't come here. And it was awful. And that's what destroyed Overwatch. And and then Marvel Rivals comes out. And has the same exact problems. The tanks are not nearly as strong as the tanks are in Overwatch. Even Overwatch 2 in its current fucking state, they're not as strong. And I've said this before, but the CC isn't great either. This is something that I love about Paladins, but Paladins has a lot of CC. Almost every single character has CC. And if a character doesn't have CC, they do a lot of fucking damage, right? CC is very prevalent, it's very common. And it leaves a deterrent. And it makes the neutral. Even though the shields aren't that strong in Paladins, because there's so much CC, it makes it where there's still neutral, and there's still a point where it's like, this is my team, this is your team, and this is the area in between that we are fighting over, right? That's neutral. That's what we're fighting over. And we got to look for an advantage for this. And fighting games are the same thing. I got to bait an ability. I got to use it alt to get an advantage. I got to get a pick, right? And we got to work together for this, right? As a team. And we got to fight over this neutral and get that neutral. You know what I mean? But you start nerfing fucking CC, you start nerfing limitations, you start nerfing shields, there's nothing to hold that shit together. There's nothing to hold that neutral together. And it just fucking steamrolls. And just turns into a clusterfuck and a scramble. Paladins keeps that neutral by having tons of CC and tons of deterrent. I can't just jump into the middle of the team because I'm just going to get fucking tossed and turned around like a Bang Bros video. So I got to look for that advantage. I got to find some kind of opening to make a play here. Right? And Overwatch used to have that. It had strong shields. That set clear dividing lines. This is our team, this is your team, right? It had strong healing. It had strong CC. And one after another, they started nerfing each one of these things. And Marvel Rivals just cut straight to the chase. There is shields, nah, there's not much for shields. Like I said, Doctor Strange is probably the closest thing to a shield tank, but average character is 250 health, 800 shield, right? You can do the math. That's, basically like putting a fucking tank in front of you. Just like that's like having a 600 shield or something. 600 to 700 shield in Overwatch. That's embarrassing. That's fucking embarrassingly small. The shield isn't there for neutral. You can't play neutral with that shield. And other than that, there's really no shields. There's really nothing there. And it's like, oh, well, Paladins doesn't have great shields either, but it's got CC. That keep the neutral. That keep a dividing line between our teams and an in-between area that you have to fight over. Marvel Rivals does not fucking have that shit. Marvel Rivals is a fucking scrambling mess. CC is very, very limited. Been over this. Best CC moves, probably Luna Snow. Who else? Penny. Penny has the net. And a lot of these things are like skill shots with long amounts of startup that you need to actually hit at the end of the day. And there's hardly any area denial. There's like Penny's little like spider nest and whatnot, but there's nothing like a big fire or a big area denial thing that's like, okay, you can't go here for now, right, until this ability is gone. That shit they are avoiding. They want to avoid these limitations. They want to avoid CC because they want you to get straight into the fray. They just want a big scramble. And that's what each game turns into. Every game, the teams just slam into each other because that's all you can do is just slam into each other and try to look for kills. And it just becomes random and inconsistent and becomes a fucking problem. It's the same exact thing that killed Overwatch. Said this before. So, and the Street Fighter 6 has the same issues. And now there's a lot of people just molding out Street Fighter 6, but there's still a lot of people sitting here saying, you can't complain about Street Fighter 6. You can't complain about Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 is a perfect game. You know? And then people going along and then saying, and then going in and then saying all this bullshit, right? Like, people just complaining about the newest current thing. Nothing's new, nothing's changed. And it's like, yeah, nothing has changed. Newest fighting game comes out, and then people fucking complain about it. Want to know why? Because it sucks ass. Because it's doing the same fucking issues that Street Fighter 5 did. The reason people didn't like Street Fighter 5 is because you pop B trigger, and now you gotta hold my nuts and guess 3 times in a row. Guess what? This game, now instead of I gotta at least get B trigger to make you hold my nuts, I just fucking throw out a button, I just drive rush in, I just do whatever the fuck. We just start scrambling, and you're gonna guess 3 or 4 times in a row before you even get to play the game. And some characters like Rashid, you're not even gonna get to fucking play the game. Like I said, I don't know that much about Rashid, but from what I hear, it's just like, you just don't get to play the game against him. You know what I mean? Right? So it's just like, you just gotta hold my fucking nuts. And if you can hit me, if you can get your advantage, now I gotta hold your nuts. And it's just people holding nuts back and forth because there's no fucking neutral and it's a big fucking scramble. It leads to an inconsistent game that's not fun. It's just a bunch of fucking dice rolling at the end of the day when you actually break it down. Guess what this game is? Same shit. Same fucking shit, but in a hero shooter form. Just a bunch of fucking dice rolling. And it makes it worse that healing is so strong. Because at least in Overwatch, healing isn't that strong. Healing, they nerf the shit out of healing over and over and over again. So it's not nearly as strong as was. But this shit, you do almost like twice as much fucking healing as someone does damage. You know what I mean? And it's like, if somebody's pocketing someone, it's really hard to fucking kill them. So it's like healing just gets ludicrous, man. Especially no roll queue. When everyone starts locking in 3 healers, oh man, this game's gonna get bad, dude. This game's gonna get really bad really quick. But yeah, it's just like, it's ridiculous. And the same exact feelings I had about Street Fighter 6, I have about Marvel Rivals. I was hyped at the start. I was like, this is the fucking shit. I'm down. Let's go. I'm super hyped. Play the beta, see the beta. I got some doubts. But the game's probably still going to be good at the end of the day. I actually get to play the game, and I go, nope, I'm out. I'm going back to modding boobies in Skyrim. But it's just like, it's a fucking shame. And you just can't say anything negative about this game in the slightest. You just can't. Because so many people just can't imagine or wrap their head around that there's any issues with the game either. And part of it is a lot of people have fucking Stockholm Syndrome because their only reference is Overwatch. But people also won't agree on what killed Overwatch in the first place. That's another issue. People won't even find a clear-cut thing that's like, okay, this killed Overwatch. It's like some people are like, oh, lack of updates, this, that, and another, and stuff like that. It's like, it's not lack of updates because there's plenty of games that hardly get updated at all. But as long as they're still good, people still play them. Stuff like TF2 and CSGO and all that stuff, right? And like this, that, and the other, 5v5 and blah, 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 blah. People just fucking point fingers and try to find things that's like, oh, this is what killed the game. I'm telling you, killed the game was the shield nerfs, the C and the C nerfs, the constant fucking nerfs to limitations and neutral. So you could go straight into scramble. Because so many people complained about, like, King's Row. I can't remember the last time someone's fucking complained about King's Row. That was the thing. People fucking bitching about King's Row. King's Row is so fucking hard on offense. It's not a thing anymore. Nobody fucking bitches about King's Row. Wanna know why? Because there's no fucking defense. Just a bunch of offense. Just a bunch of fucking scrambling. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And it's the same shit. Same shit, different game. And the part that pisses me off now is, and the thing that I want to talk about here with this is both Brian F. and Sage M. Now, I'm not going to say they jumped ship. Not yet, at least. Right? But both of them made Marvel Rivals content. And Sage M especially, like, he made, I think, 3 videos at the time of recording. Look, man, yeah, making Marvel Rivals content. Ugh. This is the part that really gets under my skin a little bit, right? Sajam. Now, Sajam, I expect this kind of behavior from Sajam. Clearly, like, if you've seen Sajam's content, like a lot of his stuff, clearly he is apathetic to the fighting game genre, but it's just his job at this point. You know, Sajam, don't know him, he's a commentator. It's what he does, is he commentates fighting games and all that shit. And he makes a lot of fighting game content, right? He's very big for like stuff like Will It Kill, you know, it's basically like kind of like a game show sort of thing that he streams, and a lot of things like that, right? That's what he does. He's a fighting game commentator, content creator. He's not a top or pro player or anything like that, though. You know what I mean? He just knows his stuff about fighting games and is a solid content creator. That's what he does. However, if you look at a lot of Sajam's content, there's a lot of shit where it's just like he does like some variety stuff. You know, he does do fighting game stuff, but he does do variety stuff when something hot and new drops. You know, every once in a while he'll stream Elden Ring, make a couple Elden Ring videos or something like that, right? And he does this like, you know, every couple months you'll see a game that's not fighting game related that he's playing. Thing is if you look at those videos have like 1K views. It's embarrassingly sad. It's such a small amount. When he normally racks in, you know, 30, maybe 50K views per video, you know? So he gets like 1K views on anything not fighting game related. Just nobody fucking watches that shit, right? Which it's like, that's as much as like I fucking pull in. That's embarrassingly sad. You know what I mean? And it's like, clearly, I think Sajam, now I'm not in the fucking mind of Sajam, but I think, and he just seems very apathetic to fighting game, and it's just his job at this point, is just to do this. You know, he gets paid to stream, he gets paid to commentate, he gets paid to do these things, and he's a big public figure in the fighting game sphere. And I think he's looking for some kind of way out if he can. And recently, he won the FGC Streamer Award. And I guess I'm going to kind of derail a little bit, because like, what is it? Sajam recently won the Fighting Game Streamer of the Year award or something along those lines, some kind of shenanigans like that. To be honest, I just don't, like, good for him, I guess, but like, it's just like, I don't know. I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of Sajam. I haven't seen like anything of his in quite a while, and I'm not a fan of and like Brian F's all right, I guess, but like Brian F, his content is just like I said, he's become less of like a top player and more just glazing casuals, you know what I mean, and more just like a content creator. And when people become less of like a player to a content creator, and like all they do is just make and milk content and just like talk about FGC related news, and that's basically what he does, is fucking read Twitter threads and shit and just talk about like FGC related shit, and he's more just a content creator. It's just like becomes a lot of like circle jerking, like casual and low level players and whatnot, you know, just a big massive like everywhere, you know. You know, and it's just like that kind of bugs me. And like the whole fucking Sajam as well has like always been doing that, you know, just jerking off everybody. But recently it's just like a lot of his shit has just become, you know, like he feels like a fucking broken record. He says the same shit over and over and over again. It's just like, oh, did you know that the Injustice was a lot of zoning? You know that? And like, Elena was broken. And it's just the same shit on loop over and over again. It feels like he just says the same things constantly. Like, just, it's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And it's just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, sometimes I'll feel like I'll watch a video and it's like, have I seen this one before? And it's like, no, this is a new video that just came out today. And it's just like, I don't know. But like, FGC Streamer of the Year award, whatever, fine. But like, but it's like, I don't know. Like, Sajam, it's just, I feel like he never says anything really interesting or informative or nothing new that anyone else couldn't tell you at a decent level. Neither does it seem like he cares, and he's not particularly good. You know, he's a commentator at the end of the day. That's what he does. He's not a top player. He's not a pro player. He doesn't play the game professionally. He just fucking commentates and whatnot. And it's like, when you get someone like that, who it's like that's just all they do, they don't really they have nothing thought-provoking to say, they have nothing interesting to say, they have nothing unique, mainly riding off the will it kill is like his main gimmick, right? And that's what really brings in the big money, is the whole will it kill and all of that, which is like his like game show thing basically. But it's just like, it's a lot of just appealing to casuals and saying what people want to hear. That's a lot of his content. That's what I find. It's just say what everybody wants to hear. If Street Fighter 6 is the best fucking game, alright, Street Fighter 6 is the best fucking game. If Guilty Gear Strive is the best fucking game, then Guilty Gear Strive is the best fucking game. And that's all you say. That's all you have to say, right? And then you'll get so many people fucking praising you, because you get people who actually play the game and who are actually good at the game, and people who just like actually enjoy the things from the beginning and just go, yeah, this game sucks. You know, people like Majin Obama, Kizzy K, pretty much any Guilty Gear Pro there is, just fucking dropped, you know, Guilty Gear Strive immediately, pretty much within the first couple months. You know what I mean? But like, Sajam stuck with it because that's where all the casuals were. And that's how he gets all of his fucking viewership and whatnot, right? Outside of Will It Kill. He brings in a massive fucking casual to low-level audience, right? And it's just like, and all because he just says what people want to hear. You know, and then just, you know, just saying the same shit on loop over and over again, the same couple of topics over and over again, and then rubs his hair. His idle animation plays constantly rubbing his hair, and it's just like, I don't know. I just can't care for that, and I felt like there's just like, especially because, like I said, he's clearly wants to get out of the realm of fighting games and wants to break more into like a variety streamer. I think is where he wants to go, and that's what he wants to be. But his variety content, like Elden Ring and shit, and all whenever he plays another game, gets horrible fucking viewership. Nobody gives a shit in the slightest. And the reason is because it's not particularly interesting. I'm going to be honest. And it's like there's so many other people, like JM Crofts for Fighting Game Streamer of the Year. Or I guess, is he a streamer? I don't think he streams. Yeah, no. So I guess not, maybe. But like, I don't know. It's just, it's whatever. It's whatever. It is what it is, I guess. I'm not the kind of person to be fucking nominating people and judging people for that. But like, dude, to me, nominating Sajam is like nominating Eris for Fighting Game Streamer of the Year. That's what I'd rather. I'd rather have Eris for Fighting Game Streamer of the Year. And he hasn't fucking touched a fighting game since Tekken 8's launched. Just plays Resident Evil for the first time and then restreams Tekken World Tour. That's what he does now. But like, and in fact, Eris has a lot of the same credentials too. You know, commentator. He's not exactly a top player. And then, but the difference between Eris and Sajam is Eris is actually funny, and you know, it was successful in becoming a variety streamer and actually got out of the fucking FGC when he wanted to. So that's the main difference here. It kind of reminds me of VDX, right? So if you don't know who VDX is, he does Tekken content, and he used to do like a Tekken 7 stuff, and did like Tekken 7 tournament breakdowns, and he would go like basically frame by frame, and basically put himself in the shoes of the other player, of one of the players, and be like, okay, here are his options here, this is the option he did, and this is why he did this option. It was very interesting, and he had like a spreadsheet and everything, and that was his thing, right? That's what he did, and he had like hardly any subscribers. Nobody gave a shit. And then Tekken 8 comes out, starts making fucking shitty, starts making guides and all this stuff, making more content appeal to casuals and whatnot, because this is a new game, more people are coming into the game, right? And then they start, you know, selling like hotcakes, everybody's on board, and his channel starts booming. And he gets all these new subscribers, and he's like at what, 150,000 now? And then now he's just become another Sajam, where it's just like, he just says what people wants to hear. And it's like, damn, like, really? Fucking really, dude? And then you have Brian F, on the other hand, who he's technically like a top or pro player, but like he's not like he doesn't make top 8s at like majors very often. You know what I mean? He's not like him. He's not that guy. He's good. He's definitely good at what he does. He's not a bad player by any means, but you know, he's no Punk the God. He's no Men-RD. He's no Idom. You know what I mean? He's just good. And he's honestly more in that content creating sphere than that actual pro player sphere. You know, I think he's much more of a content creator than a pro player in my opinion. He still does good. He'll make top 8s at regionals and whatnot every once in a while, but like fucking, you know, world majors and shit like that, you're not seeing him in top 8 in Capcom Cup. I'm gonna tell you that shit. But Brian F dropped a video, right, where he's basically being coached by, you know, a Marvel Rivals streamer or YouTuber or whatever, right, content creator, right. I can't fucking remember who it is. I just don't care at this point. But it's just like, here's the thing that pisses me off, and I've seen this in a lot of his Brian F's recent content, is clearly, and it's clearly he's apathetic towards Street Fighter 6, but he doesn't want to openly say it. You know, he says shit like, I just don't care. You know, it's like, yeah, this is fucked up. Like, he was talking about Rashid. I saw that video where he's talking about Rashid and people bitching about Rashid on Twitter. And he just goes, yeah, Rashid's good. He's fucked up, but I just don't care. And it's just like, and he just leaves it at that. And it's like, that's fucking crazy, dude. Like, he just doesn't care. And it's like, yeah, I don't care either, to be honest. But I don't play the game. But he plays the game because this is his job. This is what he gets paid to do. This is his fucking career. You know, so he has to. You know? And a lot of people don't want you to say anything bad about it. So you don't want to fucking alienate your audience. You don't want to go here and just say, this game's fucking dog shit and I don't like it. Because you're going to alienate a lot of people doing that shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, to keep it mainstream, you don't want to go against the grain. But it's like, he's clearly apathetic to this shit.
It would make this super so much weaker. It would be actually ridiculous to see. What would I change? At this point, I'm numb. This is what Capcom wants. This is Capcom's vision. Embrace it. Fierce here, but y'all want to talk about Kim. Listen, I know.
And Marvel Rivals drops, and he just fucking, after glazing the game for a long time. I haven't been like too fucking on him. Yeah, I've been too on him recently, but he glazed the game a lot when it's launched. Just like a lot of other people did. But now it's like, clearly he sees issues with the game. Clearly this is not the greatest fighting game ever, as everybody thought it was going to be at the release. Everybody but me and Men R&D, apparently. But Men R&D is just a hater. So am I. But it's just like, clearly it wasn't. Clearly this wasn't the fucking Messiah prophet that everybody was waiting for to save fighting games. But I don't think either Sajam or Brian F want to say that, because these are some of the biggest content creators in this space. And saying that alienates their audience. It's kind of like, it reminds me of Community. If you've ever seen that comedy show, Community. The girl Britta, she was like dating this basically like corporate drone guy who's working for like Honda or whatever, and she brings him to meet her parents, and they're like, oh, we should watch Avatar. We should watch Avatar. And then she's like, no, Avatar is like boring, basically. And he goes like, no, we love Avatar. What are you talking about? We love Avatar. Let's watch Avatar. And they have this conversation in the car ride home where he's like, we can't hate Avatar. It's a very popular movie. We'll alienate people if we say we don't like it. We don't want people to think we're a monster, right? So it's like, it kind of reminds me of that. You don't want to go against the grain. You don't want to say that you don't like shit that everybody else likes, or else you look like a fucking dickhead. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't like shit that everybody else likes. It's that simple. I just don't fucking like, I don't like Street Fighter 6. I don't like Marvel Rivals. And I don't like these games. And I give clear reasons on why I don't like these games and the problems with these games. But then you can't fucking wrap your head around the game, that shit. So it's just like, oh, you're a fucking hater. Dislike. You don't know what you're talking about. Dislike. And it's like, okay, fine. But then the moment I say Tekken 8, and I say I don't like Tekken 8, and I give the reasons that I don't like Tekken 8, and list it out, and it's the same exact reasons I don't like Marvel Rivals, and the same exact reasons I don't like Street Fighter 6, that's right. Like, you're right. I don't like Tekken 8 either. Like, what is this? This is such a fucking duality here, dude. I don't see how you can like Tekken 8 or dislike Tekken 8 and not dislike Street Fighter 6 and Marvel Rivals. The only reason is this. Tekken 8 isn't as pretty. It's not as pretty as Marvel Rivals. It's not as pretty as Street Fighter 6. That's it. It's the only fucking reason. So as long as there's enough jingling keys in front of you, when these games, all three of them have the same exact problems, which is the removal of neutral and the appealing to casuals. And if you're going to sit here and be like, the game's not appealing to casuals, Flats tell them. Flats tell them. I don't need to tell it for you. If you don't believe me, Flats will tell you.
I've already seen a lot of people speculate that the honeymoon phase will obviously wear off in a few months, which I agree with. I think I've seen at least 20 different characters, people come into my chat and consistently talk about, oh, this character's broken. And I think that's actually a good thing. It doesn't seem like they're gonna go a super hyper competitive balance. I know people don't like to hear it, but Overwatch is pretty competitively balanced. This game does not do that. And even some of the characters that I think are weaker, Captain America's, even if they did give him a little bit more damage, oh wow, another really strong character. If everything is broken, nothing is broken. What if this is the game that like super hyper competitive players scream and complain about balance, but other players don't care and they enjoy it? I think it's been a long time since that's been truly done, and we'll have to see how it goes.
I do want to talk more about this video later, but I will say this. Look, if everybody is OP, then nobody is OP, or if everybody is broken, then nobody is broken, is just stupid. That's a stupid fucking premise, and everybody acts like, oh, this is the first game to fucking do this. No, plenty of games attempt this. Every single one of them fails. It's a bad fucking idea to just, oh, we should just buff and not nerf. No, that's a bad fucking idea. Second thing I will come here and approach is, a lot of people are saying, oh, every character is broken. Every character is broken. This just doesn't make sense, right? Characters are only stronger than the rest of the, characters are stronger or weaker than the rest of the roster compared to the roster, right? If a character is strong or OP, that means they're better than the average character on the roster. If a character is weak, right, that means they're, well, weaker than the average character on the roster. It all depends. It's all proportional to the roster, right? And if every character does a high amount of damage, then, well, the game's just a game with a fast time to kill. Doesn't mean every character is OP. What people are feeling here, and what makes everybody think the game is so OP, is there is not enough deterrence. There is not enough limitations. It means that there is not enough counterplay to go around. That's why everybody is saying everything's broken and OP. Like I said, I want to make a more in-depth video on this and take this a bit longer, but it's because there's not enough CC, there's not enough things to stop people from doing the things that they want to do, and that's bad. That's problematic. That's what killed Overwatch. That's what kills a lot of games. Limitations are necessary for the game. Things and deterrence are necessary for the game, right? Things like anti-air and fighting games as well are necessary for the game. Strong pokes and neutral are necessary for the game, right? Without it, the game has a bunch of problems. And removing something like CC or nerfing CC or limiting CC, nerfing shields, limiting shields, this is like limiting anti-airs. This is like basically removing anti-airs or making anti-airs inconsistent as Street Fighter 6 attempted to do, or removing neutral and whatnot. It's the same fucking issue. These are big, big, big fucking problems. Here's the big issue with this video, and here's the thing that's going to make this horrible, is I don't think enough people play both fighting games and hero shooters at a high level. And I think if I say something about fighting games, everybody in the hero shooter genre is just hearing womp, 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 womp. And I say something about hero shooters, and everybody in the fighting game genre is just hearing womp, 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 womp. So that, I think, is the big issue, because I think 99% of people who are going to see this video aren't going to understand half of the shit that I'm talking about in here. So, you know, GG. But if you want to know, because he says, oh, and we'll have to see how this goes. If you want to know how it goes, look at Street Fighter 6 in its current state.
So now it's like the game is appealing to casuals, and you shouldn't appeal to casuals. It's a bad fucking idea that is going to end in failure. And I think that's a long subject for another day. But it's like, I hate how, the thing that I hate is not that Brian F. and Sajam are playing Marvel Rivals. If they're playing the game just like a one-off thing, especially like Sajam, he already has done this before, right? With like similar things like Elden Ring, and they're enjoying the game and they like the game, that's fine, that's cool. They're not fucking like, I don't want them on a leash, you know? They're not Slave Leia. It's like, no, you have to make fighting game content for me. I don't give a shit at the end of the day. But the thing that pisses me off is they glaze Street Fighter 6 on its launch, say, you know, you can't criticize the game, or don't just sit here and just all you do is criticize the game. Don't do that, you know, and jerk off these casual players who are like, you know, and these new players who are new to the fucking FGC and new to Street Fighter, and their first fighting game is Street Fighter 6, or worse, Guilty Gear Strive, and they come in here and go, yeah, I'm Diamond in Street Fighter 6, which is fucking means nothing because you can pick your own rank, right? And they're like, yeah, I'm Diamond in Street Fighter 6, and they all think they know what they're talking about when they don't, because there's stupid amounts of rank inflation in that game, right? And just jerking these people off with two fucking hands, spit lube and everything, right? And jerking up Street Fighter 6, and then the moment that something comes along and catches their eye, that looks like a better opportunity, jump ship immediately. What does that tell you about Street Fighter 6? Me just saying I fucking hate Street Fighter 6, that doesn't tell you anything. That doesn't mean anything. And I understand why people don't trust me. You know, 300 fucking subscribers, what the fuck do I know at the end of the day? It's like, I'm a nobody. You know, why should you trust me? You know, especially I'm not going to show my face. Fuck that. You people are crazy. People on the internet are fucking crazy these days. People dox people and break each other's legs over dumb shit like this. People lose their jobs. Fuck that. I'm not interacting with a community like the Overwatch community. I'm going to show my face. You're ridiculous if you think I'm going to do that shit. But like, you know, you're going to come here and all you're going to do is two hands fucking jerk off a game. And then the moment that you see a bigger cock, you're gone. You're gone. What does it tell you about the first cock? You didn't like it? I thought the whole time you were just fucking pleasuring that shit. And now there's a bigger cock right in front of you and you're gone? You're a fucking whore, dude. You're a fucking whore, dude. And like I said, these things could just be one-off things. But this reminds me of another YouTuber. And this is the part that scares me, is if someone like, especially like Sajam, right? And Sajam starts pulling in numbers he's never seen before with Marvel Rivals, and starts becoming a Marvel Rivals content creator and basically just drops fighting games entirely. This is the thing that's going to make me like really sad, because I've seen this before and this has happened before, and I just don't like this shit. You know what I mean? It just kind of pisses me off, just like sort of like losing your identity like that. But like I said, I don't think he likes fighting games anymore anyway. But the thing that pisses me off is basically like people are gonna. I fear a future where people know Sajam more for Marvel Rivals than Street Fighter. This is way off. Like I said, he made 3 videos. Don't go into panic mode yet. But like, it's like, it reminds me of another YouTuber known as The Smith Plays. And I used to play Call of Duty Zombies a lot. You know, back in the peak of Call of Duty Zombies was this shit. And a very tight community, you know, just like a lot of these other things. Had a community with people, public figures, and all of that stuff. And Call of Duty Zombies, you know, I was into Call of Duty Zombies. I fucking love Call of Duty Zombies. I know that game in and out, right? And during like Black Ops 3 to Black Ops 4, especially during Black Ops 4, people started to get tired of Call of Duty. Right? People started to get really sick of it, and Black Ops 4 was such a fucking disappointment and such a letdown, and people hated the Call of Duty Zombies in that game. And the content was just not great. There was not a lot of content to make in that sphere either, and it was a dying community. And I understand that. And eventually, you know, The Smith Plays, right? This guy, The Smith Plays. He's one of the biggest content creators in the Call of Duty Zombies sphere, right? And he made great content about Call of Duty Zombies. And then he goes in, and, you know, Call of Duty Zombies, it's slowing down. The content train's not coming like it used to. The golden age is over, right? And then he makes a couple Fortnite videos. and he starts pulling in similar to better numbers than he was ever getting on Call of Duty Zombies. Right? He makes a couple of Fortnite videos. And it's like, oh shit, you know, fucking people like my Fortnite content. So he starts keep making more Fortnite content and trying to appeal to Fortnite players, right? And making more and more Fortnite content because it's wildly more popular. And to the point where he basically just drops Call of Duty Zombies. He makes one Call of Duty Zombies video like fucking semi-annually, right? It's like, oh, this new map is sick. And then he plays the map and then goes, sick map. And that's it. That's pretty much it for Call of Duty Zombies content. You know, it's like, he's basically dropped it. You know, but the worst part is he starts meshing with that community and acting like dumb fuckers in that community. That's the part that pisses me off. Because he's like, oh, I'm now going to be a Fortnite YouTuber. So he dyes his fucking hair. He puts on a fake smile and a fake personality. Starts making his videos all like spurgy and fucking lame and shit. Making it just being another Fortnite drone. And he pulls in way more viewers, way more subscribers than he ever did doing Call of Duty Zombies. And he's just become, you know, fucking, I'm a Fortnite YouTuber now. And it's like people know him more from Fortnite. Smith Plays is the Fortnite guy now. He's never the Zombies guy. He's the Fortnite guy. People know him more from Fortnite than Zombies. And it's like, you know, I was talking with a friend a while ago, and we were playing Call of Duty Zombies, and he never played Call of Duty Zombies before, you know? And we go in, and I start talking about, like, people in the Zombies community and whatnot. And I was talking about the Smith Plays, and he's like, yo, the Smith Plays? And he's like, I know that guy. He plays Fortnite. And I'm like, yeah, he does. He's the Fortnite guy. And it's like, he didn't know he played Call of Duty Zombies. He didn't know he was a Call of Duty Zombies YouTuber. He didn't know he used to make content for Call of Duty Zombies. He's the Fortnite guy. He knows him because he plays Fortnite. And it's like, if Sajam becomes the same fucking thing, it's just like, goddamn. But yeah, that's about it. I think the same future, if you want to know how the duration of Marvel Rivals' life is going to go in, look at Street Fighter 6. Look at the state of Street Fighter 6 right now. Look how people talk about the game. Look at how the game is. Yeah, sure, it still has very positive reviews. But look at pro players, look at top players, look at a lot of people. All they do is fucking bitch about the game and complain about problems with the game. And the casual audience that the game brought in say, you're just a hater, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, motherfucker, MenRD doesn't know what he's talking about? The guy who's won, what, 2 Capcom Cups and an Evo? You're out of your fucking mind, dude. But yeah, that's about it. Peace.